Salutations, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. V back with another casted game of Age of Empires 3, and boy howdy folks, you are in for a treat, because not only am I giving you the highest of high elo matches here, but we are watching a game that, depending on the result, may cause a momentous shift in the ranked leaderboard, at least temporarily. So, with that teaser in play, let us get to the Civ intros. We are on Vistula Basin, one of my favorite maps, and it is a French mirror. So our blue French player in the north of the map is going to be Irish, who is a very, very fantastic player. I don't get to see him a lot. I actually miss a lot of the play times for a lot of the higher level players because a lot of them are based in Europe, and because I am in the Midwest of the United States, they are often playing when I'm at work or sleeping. So whenever I can catch these guys playing, I always try to take advantage of it. And he's going to have some stiff competition because in the south of the map, playing in the color red, also as the French, we have probably the best player to ever do it on DE, that is. It is JulianK, who in my opinion, now this is just my opinion of course, he is the best Age of Empires 3 player in the world right now. And he is very, very good with French. He is good with all civs, but I've seen him play a lot of French, and he always kind of is willing to embrace both the legacy strats, you know, the old school strats, but he's never afraid to go into some of the DE stuff as well, which that is going to be an interesting kind of opposition to Irish, because Irish, every time I've seen him, I might be wrong, I might be looking at the wrong replays, but he's always kind of gone for more of the standard vanilla builds with his play. I don't really see him utilize a lot of the DE mechanics, and on this map specifically, there are some good options. Of course, you do have the native posts, which are both pretty good. The House of Yagelian, which could give you the Lipka Tartars. And when you get these guys, the veteran upgrade in Age 3, which is actually pretty cheap, only 125 wood and coin, it's actually really, really good. The attack speed, the movement speed on these guys, as Lionheart would say, they are machine guns. I really used to rag on that unit, but I have come to like them quite a bit. And then, of course, we have the House of Vasa as well, which a lot of people get for the Hanseatic League, the 4 Torps, but you could go into Winged Hussars in H3 for a little extra punch. I don't think we'll be seeing the Royal Arquebusiers, as seeing as it's a French mirror, I don't know where those would be super viable. And then, of course, the Order of Vasa button is always good. So we'll see what Julian does. He is already going for one of the House of Yagelians, probably going to be seeing some Lipka Tartars, maybe even in Age 2 as some pressure. And if Irish goes for something like the standard semi-FF with 5 cav, could actually be some really good value for Julian. And it does look like both players started with a TP on this map. There are 4, 2 in the middle, which are very contestable, and then 2 safer ones on both sides of the map. And then the last really DE thing that I want to point out here is the windmills. I always forget about these, but then when I take another look, I have to remember that if you kill the Guardians, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 Musketeers, so you wouldn't be able to take this until like Age 2, Age 3, but once you claim this mill, that is an infinite, pretty much indestructible 1 food per second. Though I do think you can destroy these things, but still, I mean, 1 food per second. And that's almost the equivalent of a CDB, right? CDBs gather at, let's see, unupgraded, they gather, oh, I need to find a gathering one. Let's see, 1.14 food per second. So yeah, it's basically the equivalent of a CDB treasure. And you never have to worry about moving it or worry about it getting raided. And if the enemy destroys it, not that big of a loss. And again, we see Julian going for a trading post, this time the House of Vasa. He is now in H2, and so far he has sent the 3 CDBs, followed immediately by 700 wood and then 4 CDBs. So a little bit interesting there, not going for the 4 villagers right away, and it's 1v1, not lame. I can't wait to see it. Meanwhile, Irish's deck, very, very standard. Oh my goodness, 2007 called, and it wants its cards back. But yeah, also going with 3-vil, 4-vil, and then going into 700 coins. This is definitely looking like a standard 5 cav semi-FF, though only currently 2 Hussars in queue. Let's see if he ups that. No? Oh, okay. I really like what Irish is doing here. He's constantly keeping one Hussar in queue just in case he gets pressured, but it looks like he's going for a totally naked FF. I think this is a really good strategy. I really have to do it more in my own play as well because it doesn't really cost you anything to keep one Hussar in queue, and then you can always cancel it if you're not getting pressured. But if you are getting pressured, you can immediately get that reinforcing batch of cav, and it's just really a really good practice. And you can do that with infantry units as well. But super high level play by Irish. Well, I don't know how high level it is. Higher level than me, which is actually not that hard. But we do see the Tatars coming across the map. And while they look for villagers, let me tell you why I'm so excited about this game. So I saw Julian on the ranked ladder and I thought, oh my God, a Julian game. I got to capture it. And out of curiosity, I checked the leaderboard. And this is what I saw. Now, this means that if Julian wins this game, he will be #1 in the world at Age of Empires 3, and he will top Revnak as the #1 spot. Now, I don't know how long Revnak has been sitting at the top, but as a fan of Julian, I gotta admit, I'm really inserting some favoritism here. No shade against Irish, but I would love to see Julian take the #1 spot. I think he's a fantastic player. All the help he's done to the community with his guides. I would really love to see it. So we'll have to see. Okay, I'm rooting for Julian, but Irish, he is not going to make it easy because even playing standard, it is going to be really good. Already in Age 3 at the 6-minute 50 mark and immediately sending 1,000 wood. Getting his place your mines in. Probably doesn't have steel traps yet, though we'll have to take a look at the villagers. I've definitely been upgraded. So maybe, actually, no, I think steel traps might actually be in already for him. Tatars haven't really caught anything. I think they did kill the French explorer whose name is Ryan Mankey. Wait, isn't that H2O's name? I feel like that's the real name of H2O, the former best player in the world. Oh my gosh. So many top-level callbacks here in so many ways. I love it. I love it. And I never get to capture these games, maybe just because I'm in the wrong time zone. So that is why I'm so giddy, okay? Possible change in the world leaderboards, which at the end of the day isn't actually that important because they're constantly shifting, and ELO as a stat is already kind of, bullcrap, but I still think it'd be really cool. So Irish going with the second town center, which he did send 1,000 wood, so he's going to be able to afford it, immediately following up with 8 skirm. But Julian, despite getting out those Lipka Tartars, actually not very far behind, reaching Age 3 already himself, does have a slight score lead, currently 23 vills to Julian and 23 for Irish. So they did send their 4 CDBs in different orders, but they did both send it as, I think, their second or third card. Yeah, I think Julian went third card, Irish went second card, but I mean, it ended up being the same anyways. But right now we have Goon versus Skirm, which is actually going to be a better trade for Julian, and his 8 Skirm are going to be arriving as well. And he does have quite a bit of Lipka Tatars. These guys already have the veterancy upgrade, and like I said, it's a very, very cheap upgrade for what you're getting. And now these guys have 12 ranged attack, 13 range, and what is their attack speed? It's incredibly fast. Let's see. They have a 1.25 rate of fire. Man, that's incredible. All right, so here we go. The machine guns versus the classic Goon Skirm composition. And the Tatars not able to get much of an engagement here. The skirmishers just poking at each other. Nothing super major right now. Julian sending 2 Falcons. Irish double producing CDBs from his 2 town centers. So he could have a bit of a Vill lead if this keeps up, though a lot of these Vills will be exposed if Julian decides to keep pushing this. And he did go for the Hanseatic League, so he does have these 4 Torps working for him at all times. Meanwhile, Irish sending a fort. Oh, really? My goodness. Okay, maybe he really wants to hold the middle of the map. No, switching it out for 2 Falcons now, which I think is the right call, right? Julian's 2 Falcons are on the way, and if you went with the fort, you would probably lose this town center regardless, And I mean, seeing as he had to send 1,000 wood to get that TC up, that would be a big loss in investment. And yeah, 1 TP versus 2 TPs for Julian. So Julian does have a slight trading post lead, though Irish now has a 2 CDB lead, and that is only going to grow as long as Julian remains on 1 town center. It is now going to be Falk Goon Skirm versus Falk Skirm and a Tatar, which I don't actually know what the better composition is in that scenario. I guess it's just going to come down to who gets the first volley. Oh, man. Oh, no. Julian going to use it on the town center. Is he going to get it off? Irish going to fire off both, but so is Julian right before the Falk was killed. And Julian actually going to win the Falconet engagement, though. That remaining Falk does immediately go down to Dragoons, but these Dragoons are not going to get out without taking a significant amount of HP. Oh man, I'm turning into Joe Biden live on air. But it looks like Irish is going to call out the Minutemen, and along with these reinforcing skirms, he is going to be able to drive off Julian. So we saw a blanket to Falcon trade there, and man. I mean, that was a really even trade. They both just killed each other's Falconets. I would say Julian lost more skirms, but Irish definitely lost more HP on his Cav. And there's still such a massive Tatars here. And, Julian even has an artillery foundry coming down. Irish sending 7 skirm, which I'm noticing a lot of people aren't even adding to their deck nowadays. I actually don't have 7 skirm in my Dutch deck. I've replaced it with advanced artillery, which I promote every single game, and I'm going to continue to till it stops being good. And it looks like Julian, does he have an artillery foundry down? He does. So he's going to be producing more Falcons. Nothing else to go along with it right now. Irish sticking to Skirm Goon. Oh man, what did I tell you? This guy is a vanilla lover. He is a legacy meta lover. He went with the 5 Cav. Well, not really 5 Cav, but he went with the potential for Cav. And then the blind FF straight into Skirm Goon, which I'm sure is just ruffling the jammies of the Musk Falk lovers. I am a lover of the Skirm Goon over the Musk Falk, but that's really only because my artillery micro is horrible. Meanwhile, we got some raids going around. It looks like Julian did send the 3 Curs as a card. And is he going to get a CDB here? These guys do have quite a bit of HP. It looks like he did get great coats for this guy, so might be able to last. The Dragoons are rushing up to try to reinforce. And EA are going to pick up that CDB, but going to lose 2 Curs as a result. And I don't know if that was an even trade, but look at this! We have the feint by Julian using the Curs to draw up his opponent's Cav. And now that's going to give him plenty of time to wail on this TC, though he can't let his skirmishers get too far. Okay, that's enough Dragoons to one-shot a Falconet. Nice job by Julian, thinking ahead, going to block off the potential route. And these skirmishers are not going to be able to engage these Tatars in range of these 3 Falcons. And what is Irish doing? He's immediately sending more Dragoons and going to try to pick off as many Tatars as he can, but gonna lose the TC. And that is a huge win for Julian, 100 XP as well. Certainly not a game ender for Irish, but it's going to mean that keeping the map control in the middle is going to be substantially more difficult. And look at that, immediately making the correct response, getting out the Culverin. And it also means that, you know, he lost a lot of wood, right? Because he invested a lot of his 1,000 wood into getting that TC up, but he's no longer going to have the Vil making advantage of that second TC. So maybe this gives Julian an opportunity to possibly keep the Vil count within range. Irish at 42 and Julian at 35. So a 7 Vil lead for Irish. So Julian really needs to push here, needs to continue doing lasting damage. And I think he's doing a good job so far, but Irish has a scary army here. He's rebuilt his goon mass. He's got quite a few skirms, and now he's got Culverins out. So Julian definitely can't get sloppy here. Irish making all of the right moves, sticking to the legacy stuff, sending Cav attack, which is going to buff his goons even more. Ooh, exposed Falcon, it's Julian. And what else is Julian doing? Still on the 2 trading posts. Do either of these guys got handcart? No, I don't think so. Nope, no handcart as of yet. And I think that's probably smart. I mean, on this map, if you buy that upgrade, you're just buying the upgrade for your opponent. So unless you are just dominating in map control and you have like 3 of the TPs, I don't necessarily think that the upgrade is worth it to go for Stagecoach. And plus, you're still getting a nice XP trickle for both of these guys, and they still have quite a few cards to send. And Julian could send the Senegalese Rifleman. That would really help in these skirm wars. He also has native warriors, which could get him out even more Tatars. They would be cheaper by 25% in wood, coin, and food. Could even use that for winged hussars as well. But oh, we've got a nice raid down here. Though I will say Tatars are not a good raiding unit. They don't do a lot of damage to villagers at all. And so maybe not as good. Gonna pick off 1 CDB for sure. It's 39 to 45 for Julian. So he's filled that gap slightly, though still a 6 CDB lead for Irish. And it looks like he's gonna come up on some villagers as well, who are also upgraded with Great Coat. And 1 going to go down for sure, possibly another, possibly a third. No, that one going to live with 26 HP. That is the luckiest CDB to ever live on this map. And Calf Combat coming in again? Oh no, Julian sent Calf Combat and then Irish sent it. Okay, that was my mistake. But it looks like Irish is also now making falconets. He does have 2 Culves, 1 falconet now out. And these guys are going to resort to Skirm Goon Artillery. And we'll see who wins. It's going to be all about the artillery micro, maneuvering your Dragoons to try to pick off any exposed artillery. I love this placement by Irish here, getting a lot of extra line of sight from this house. He's going to be able to cover this bridge crossing. Crossing only has 2 syllables, everybody. And it's going to be able to protect these gatherers because he now has, how many of these villagers are on coin right now? At least 10. I think it's like 11 villagers on that coin mine. And he has eaten up all his safe coin. He still has 3 on his side of the map, but one of those is torped up by Julian. I love that choice to torp up one of Irish's coin mines rather than his own. And Julian also eating up all of his coin mines. Does have an arsenal out, probably getting counter infantry rifling. Has his own Culves, 3 falconets still in play. And oh, Irish has 2 falconets of his own. I thought he had more than that. Oh, he's making more Culves, that's it. Julian getting some nice goon pickoffs here. And let's see what happens. Both continuing to maneuver with their artillery, and you have to be so careful. Keep these guys unpacked. Don't move them forward until you know the position of your enemy's artillery. Try to bait the artillery out by using your units. And you can see, I think what Julian here is trying to do is he's trying to bait out these falconets with his skirmishers, trying to get them to auto attack so that he can hit with his culverins. And he's bombarding these villagers, which is not going to kill them, but it is going to keep them from gathering coin. And I love this player. It's going to make them go all the way over. So many seconds lost. And at a game this high level, those seconds are really going to matter. Skirmishers getting a little too far ahead. There's even some halberdiers in here for Irish. I have no idea what those are for. But look at the amount of culverins. 4 more culverins out for Irish. And wow. Is going to get a free damage on there is Julian. Wow, nice pickup for him. And again, it's all about a game of like millimeters here, right? Whoever can get the best positioning is going to be able to win this fight quite hard. And now we see a little bit of raiding here by Julian, and we see Irish. He's going to go and try to siege down these torps, but it looks like Julian's also going to take advantage of that and push across as well. He does have 1 more culverin in the mix, and both players have relatively equal armies, all right? We got 72 military pop for Julian and 68 for Irish. This is so close. Both, oh no, Julian's unpacking the culverins, moving them forward. That could be a game ender. And his army is getting so far removed from his artillery. Looks like he was trying to pick off, oh my God. Irish had a couple of exposed falcons down here, but now Julian has left his artillery train completely exposed. Now these skirmishers, they are highly upgraded. He did send Senegalese riflemen, I believe. Yes, Julian did send the skirmisher upgrade, and these dragoons, they are going to take out all of this artillery, but he is going to pay a high price. The dragoon count has been absolutely demolished, and there are no more remaining artillery pieces for Irish as well. So even despite the loss of the Falconets and the Culverins, it looks like Julian is going to win this engagement off of the back of his upgraded skirms and his machine gun Tatars. And what a fight. Both players looking to target the other's infrastructure and eco, and then they both raced back to try to get their armies met. Now, Julian was caught a little bit off guard there, but I think he recovered very, very well. And Irish, I think that was about the best fight he could have taken. I think he caught the artillery in a great spot. I think he did an awesome job jumping on it with his goons. But man, that was such a heavy investment to take out those cavalry. And it is now a 4,000 score gap in Julian's favor. He has more Falconets coming. He's got more Shock Riders now. Okay, so switching it up, going with some melee cav and curs. So it looks like we are going to be seeing a heavy cav switch. I love the heavy cav switch, and Irish is seeming a bit strapped here for coin. He's eaten up this last safe mine, and now the Torps have eaten the last mine as well. So Irish is going to be very lacking in terms of coin. Only 57 in the bank, no villagers currently on it, and Julian still has quite a bit of coin in the bank, though he also doesn't have a lot of villagers on it. He's stealing the middle mine, and with the 2 Falconets and the Culv in the back and so much cavalry, both players have a ton of villagers they could pull here. More Dragoons for Irish. He even has a couple of Haubs in there. They will keep the Curs at bay. But, I mean, the upgraded Skirmishers, 150 HP versus 144 for Irish. These guys have 20 ranged attack versus 18, and 20 range versus 20 range. So it is a slight advantage in Julian's favor. And on top of that, Julian has more artillery and he has more cavalry. So things are really starting to turn in Julian's favor. And again, if he wins this game, he will become the #1 ranked player in the world. The hype is real. Now, the veteran Shock Riders are going to come out. Irish is certainly not out of this game, not by a long shot. He's got 50 villagers currently. He still has a decent amount of skirmishers. My only worry for him, oh, and he's getting a great raid down here with his 3 curs. This is exactly what he needs. But my only worry is that his source of coin is completely gone, and he's going to kill a ton of villagers here, and Julian's going to see that, and he's going to be sending his Tatars here. But what an excellent raid for Irish. Julian now at 39 villagers, but again, this heavy cav switch is incoming, and I don't know if Irish has been reinforcing his anti-cav numbers. It doesn't look like it, and I just don't think he doesn't have the coin. He does not have the coin to make any more units, so he's trying to make do with what he has. JulianK now going for that stagecoach upgrade. Look, he's got that 3rd TP. Did I call it or did I call it? And what else is he sending? Now is sending Economic Theory, has pretty much sent all of his H3 cards except Refrigeration, could send Wilderness Warfare, which would buff his skirmishers even more. And honestly, I think that would actually be better at this point rather than Eco Theory, but a villager pull coming here from Irish. This might be what he needs to take out the Falconets, but a villager pull coming from Julian, and they're pulling everything in. The Tatars are going in and soaking up so much damage. The veteran Shock Riders are in just the right spot, and the Cur numbers are also in favor of Julian. The villagers are going to take out the Falconets, but it is not going to be enough. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the new #1. What a fantastic game to reach that milestone. Now, obviously, rank 1 changes all the time. So by the time you're looking at this, let's see, I'm recording it on Sunday. It's going to be uploaded on Monday. I'm going to put it out a day early because I want you guys to see this as soon as possible. But it could already be changed. All right, go check Free Food Party, see if it's still there. And if not, hey, we can just bask in this moment for Julian. Congrats! That is awesome. Guys, follow me to the post game. All right, guys, here we are in the post game, and what an amazing performance by both players. Now, we do see a 6K resource discrepancy, but I think a lot of that came in the last few minutes of the game, and if we look, it mostly came in the coin department, a 4,000 resource difference here, whereas everything else was much, much closer. And when we go to military, Again, very, very equal in terms of units made, but in terms of units killed, a clear advantage for JulianK. And the buildings lost. This is a stat that a lot of people just straight out ignore, but it is an important stat because every lost building is wasted resources. And when we consider the wood that Irish lost in the town center and the 2 or 3 houses plus the teepee, I mean, we're looking at almost over 1,000 wood invested just straight up lost. And that's a loss that Julian did not have to experience because he lost not a single building. Both players making a ton of skirms, which is something that is very, very common in French mirrors. And when we look at the timeline here, the one thing that I want to say about Irish is that his villager production and his villager raids were far superior to Julian's. He pretty much had a vill lead the entire game after the 9-minute mark. And look at this beautiful raid, 49 vills down to 36. And I feel like if Irish had held that push by Julian, though I don't know how he could have, but if he had somehow managed, he definitely would have won the game from there just because his economy had such a huge advantage at that point. Did start to slip a little bit because of that vill pull, but still very well played by both players. I just love high-level games like this, and I said this on the ESOC stream, I think about a week ago. I love high-level mirrors. I know not everybody loves mirrors because they think it's kind of boring seeing the same civs versus the same units, but I love it because it takes out all of the balance, it takes out all of the cheapness, it takes out all of the countering, and it just focuses on the mechanics and the strategies of the 2 players going head-to-head, and those are the kinds of games that I really love to analyze. So, congrats to JulianK. I don't know how long you'll hold the number 1. I don't know how much it matters. At the end of the day, our ranks are rank, and this is just a game, so not that much. But still, congratulations, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this game. I will be back in a couple days with another, but until then, have a great day, have a great life. See you later.